Okay, so hopefully a little bit more professional today because I've set up the camera angle before I start. And today's session is in the daylight. It's just gone around 7:30 on Sunday evening, and the last one I did was in the early hours of Saturday, very early hours of Saturday. A second attempt to see if there was anything going to appear on camera of a paranormal nature, for want of a better word. I prefer to say spiritual nature. And I did the usual bit of a ramble as I was sat there, and I do encourage people that if you're really not interested in hearing the sound of my voice or what I'm doing, then do switch off. Not that I've had any negative comments, which is brilliant. The reason I'm doing this is just to see whether I can capture anything in the lounge at Terns, the Namaste group, which really came about very much through Mum's influence in a way, albeit I was into that zone, but it was through her arranging to move down here and for me to join her that all of this has subsequently developed and evolved. Mum passed, as most of you will know, in December of 2014, and this coming week, in fact, we're doing the ash scattering, albeit 2.5+ years later. As I said in the last video, there's no time constraints on that sort of thing, and it happens to be that immediate family are ready to go and to do, and it's going to be a private affair, so I'll probably report back on how the day went at some point. But of course it's an intensely personal thing that we're doing, and it is what is done in this country, albeit Mum passed to spirit, as I say, over 2.5 years ago. So here we are. I'm sat behind the camera at the moment, kind of, with the help of a Buddha holding the camera upright, so there shouldn't be any slippage or anything like that, so solid as a rock. And as I say, this time, rather than in the dark, I'm going to do it in the daylight, because that's where I believe that I prefer to do healing and spiritual things, in the cold light of day. We don't need, not that I'm knocking them, but we don't necessarily be needed to do cabinet work and lowered lights and red lights and all that sort of thing that where mediumship, trance mediumship certainly appears to take place. I know the reasons for it, but I want to bring it out into the open and into the light. Personally, I may be the only one in the world who wants to do that, but I do believe that if spiritual things are going to take place, then they should be within our immediate vision and in, as I say, the cold light of day, because this is the real world. And yeah, darkness, no, I don't get it. Now you'll hear the dulcet tones of a dog walking past. That's nothing spooky, and he may even come in and walk across the camera screen at some point, or he might kick off and bark like he does rather randomly at times. Again, those of you who know me know that I've got what I call my angel dog Maxie, the best boy in the world, 12-year-old and more probably, came to me without an age attached, but he's certainly in the region of 12, if not older. So he might be knocking around. So I'm going to go and sit in my thrown multicoloured chair over there. I thought I'd have it a little bit more on me, but far enough away so you can't see the stains on my shirt and the fact that I haven't shaved today. But I do this when I feel drawn to do it, and I've felt drawn to do it now, so I shall do. And I repeat, the prime thing for this really for me is not to put myself on stage as such. It's actually just to capture anything that might take place, but particularly for people to contribute what they see, the other people see, and what they perceive with their own eyes, their own perception, their own vibrational state that they are. And that might be unusual thing to say, but I've discovered over the years that, without a doubt, different people, each and every one of us, sees different things through our own perception and through our own eyes. And so none of us see precisely the same colours in anything out in the world. And certainly perceptually and dimensionally and energetically, there are definitely people who see things that I don't see, and indeed that others don't see. I'll go and sit over there in a moment and just have a little sort of chatteroony about this. I know I've got quite a lot to say for myself, but I am immersed in the spiritual zone, and I've seen and met some extraordinary people. I have experienced some extraordinary things, and I just kind of want to get it out to the world, what this one guy has experienced in his life, because I find it fascinating, and there are a lot of people out there who find it fascinating. And what you will be reminded about quite often is that I'm extremely down to earth about this, and I don't Billy Bull what's it about it. What I see with my own eyes, what I feel with my own body, that I believe. Anything else is open to opinion and other people's sort of viewpoints. And I will not immediately believe that something is paranormal or essentially spiritual or mystical or whatever, unless all other options have failed. So I repeat, if you see anything on this video at all, any kind of unexpected or out of the ordinary things, please make the comment, because I'd be fascinated to know. I don't really see things per se. I have friends who take photographs and capture orbs. I can hold the very same camera in the very same position and I capture nothing. I have friends who can video a haunted, so-called haunted pub, and they will capture things. I will do the same. I don't capture things. I'm not obviously meant to, any more than when I'm doing healing. It is others that see things going on during my healing that I don't see. And I've always wanted to, but I'm obviously not meant to. And I'll give one example. I won't name names, but there is one amongst the group who, when I am healing, sees a blue light emanating from my hands. They point out that I only have to breathe in, breathe out, and the energy flows, and they see it. And they're not making it up. They're just not. They're seeing what they see. And in fact, it first happened for me down at a psychic fair in New Romney, after a very, very busy and amazing day. There were two people separately and individually from the other side of the room who asked me what the black stuff was, the strands of black stuff that I was pulling out of people. And back in the day, and still now, but back in the day, I certainly said, my first reaction was, what black stuff? And they both individually and separately said, we saw black strands, like sort of spaghetti, being pulled out of the person. I don't see it. I didn't know I was doing it. I'm almost in a sense miming when I'm working. I'm just literally led, guided, but kind of non-specific. It's very difficult. I don't particularly feel anything intense. I don't have anything that I sense on my hands, but I just do what I do, and the results are utterly extraordinary. They just are utterly extraordinary, and it still and always will amaze me and delight me that I have a wonderful gift, a gift that all of us can explore and practice. I am certain of that. And if you have the open mind and the good intent and the lack of ego, yes, I'm on video, yes, I go on radio shows, yes, I do presentations on, or will be doing on Facebook Live, and I'm now doing these videos, but I promise you it's one of my absolute bottom lines that I'm not, this isn't about ego, this isn't about me, but I'm fascinated to bring certain whatevers out to the world where I can, and to allow people who have doubt or uncertainty about the spiritual, and certainly for me, healing, hands-on healing, that old school hands-on healing is remarkable. It is centuries old. It can run us alongside modern conventional medicine quite happily, but it is the oldest and the most original form of helping humankind. Back in the days of no pharmaceuticals and no chemicals and all of that, the prime thing that one human could do for another is to heal. And then, of course, there is the, nature at its very best, where back in the day, and there's still a lot of modern medicines have a derivation in the plant kingdom and what is provided to us on what people call Mother Earth or Gaia. So I said I was going to move over, and I haven't yet, and we're 11 minutes in, so something might have happened while I'm chit-chatting on. I always check that it's actually running, because I could have sat here all by myself talking to my bloody self, which I do, but, kind of pointless otherwise. So that's bubble wrap I'm getting up from. It's not me creaking or making funny sounds. So I'm just going to walk over there, have a sit down, and carry on talking to you. Here I be. I've been out of the camera lens in the previous ones, simply because that's how I set the tablet up. But this evening, in the cold light of day, now 10 to 8, on Sunday, the 23rd of July 2017, the prime objective is, as I say, to see if anything materialises for anyone. If it materialises for me, it'll be a first. As such, I can and do see auras, not as intensely as I used to do, as much because I probably don't need to, because I know that they're there, but I can see auras at will, should I choose to. So yes, this is Terns, this is the Namaste group, where we have regular healing exchanges and get-togethers. In the first year of doing what we do now, in the first year we had any number of courses going on and workshops. It was an intense year in 2015, and absolutely full to the brim, each and every Wednesday for the whole year. And those were the days that on the Thursday as well, every Thursday throughout that year, we had a spiritual development workshop run by a lady who has now decided to step away. In fact, she stepped away last year through, unfortunately, a bit of a misunderstanding, but who knows, people do return. I say that everybody returns in time, but there we are. So 2015 was a very intense evolution year. Last year, 2016, was an interesting one and a lesson learning year, and without going into too much detail, unfortunately I had to step up, not that I wanted to, but I did over the course of the year have to ask one or two people to step away, nicely, as nicely as I could, but I'm very easygoing and very light-hearted about a lot of things, as you folks know, certainly online, but I am very serious about the spiritual, and this group, the Namaste group, is a professional group, and it's not just local to New Romney and Littlestone on Sea. It's a national and an international group. And I'm not being pretentious about that, but that was the whole point of why I set the group up, was to take the word out there and have any number of really truly professional spiritual people, healers and other aspects of spiritual. With it, I wanted good people on side. I had this sense that I would have too much work to do to be able to cope with it, and so that, for example, if there was somebody in the Midlands or up north who needed my help, that I did have a group of people around the country who I could call on to deal with that, because otherwise it would just have been impossible for me. And that I have developed, and there are some fantastic people on the books as such. And there are also international connections, and one of the most delightful aspects, or two of the most delightful, are Raphael and Michael Tamura out in Mount Shasta, California, and they were absolutely delighted to become associated with the group. I have a great connection with Era Parisian in Canada. So in that sense, it is an international group, and it has a very good reputation, as it does here at Terns. And so, as I say, last year there were just 2 or 3 occasions where I had to tweak the group reluctantly, but then it would be naive to think that everything is going to be 100% tickety-boo in any group where characters and personalities and humans are involved. There were a couple of instances that weren't so positive, but they are life lessons, and those who are involved and those around me do have a sense of what occurred, and it was kind of troubling at times. This year I have sought to steady the ship and keep the ship steady, and I have succeeded in doing that, and we're in July and the ship is steadied, and I've no doubt that this year will continue to be good, and that next year there will be an absolute oomph of a stepping up in many directions, and a lot of the healers involved here and in the group will be stepping up levels and doing some great work, which they already do, but they'll be continuing to do it, and they'll be doing it on a higher vibrational level. So I'm just doing a sort of over talk for while the video's running, and hopefully it's a very clear one that appears to be on the screen, certainly when I was looking at it, that I was intrigued to see whether anything happened in this lounge. It was, Mum used to sit on the sofa there, that was her particular spot. The first time I had a torch, flashlight, to see whether she would light it up or Dad would light it up. Nothing appeared to happen then. I was told that it might be a bit of an art to do that. So I'm going to keep doing this, and I've had feedback on the first one. The second one is uploading on YouTube, as I say, from early hours of Saturday morning, and this one will be uploaded as soon as. I've also found a way of flipping videos, which is extremely helpful, because how many of you have taken a video, maybe quite a long one, and then found it's at a 90-degree angle? So if anybody's interested and wants to know, it's a very simple exe file that I discovered online, because the one I'm uploading at the moment was off at 90 degrees, which nobody wants to watch any length of video sort of craning their neck. That's ridiculous, unless they're on a phone or they're on a tablet, and it will turn around without flipping back to the wrong angle. So I've discovered that, which is actually quite cool, really cool discovery, because I have probably deleted other videos in the past when annoyingly something goes on with these blessed things. So there we are. I know I kind of ramble on. Well, I'm aware of that. If you don't think I ramble on, let me know, because that'll be quite cool, because I'm aware that, you know, some people might think I like the sound of my own voice. That's not the case. I just, being who I am and whatever. A little bit about me while we're on. Any number of you will know what I do. Some people may not, actually, because somebody did actually say online the other day, "What do you do?" And I thought, oh, don't you actually know? You know, I thought I was known for what I do. I'm a number of things, or I do a number of things. I run the group, like I've mentioned here, the Namaste group. The reason I also set that up was that I wanted to do it my way. And I did find, in my experience, that spiritualist churches and other groups can become political, and they can become bound by rules, and that they do it their way and no other. And I wanted to have a group where it was done not specifically my way, but it was open to all to practice everything. And as long as it's not a negative energy that you bring to this, I will have you stepping up doing healing, even if you have no experience of it. Because I very much believe that everyone can do it. You don't necessarily need certificates and insurance and all that goes with the palaver of the modern day. You have to have it to do it professionally, but to actually do hands-on healing, you don't need a certificate sitting on the wall or wherever. What do? I primarily has changed. I'm a Reiki master, Usui Reiki. I'm Corinthians trained with certificate. I'm a psychic surgeon, which was channeled, without a question, was channeled to me and continues to be channeled to me. And I'm an angel, an archangelic healer, therapist, call it what you will. None of those things happened by accident. I chose Reiki as the foundation for getting professionally into this side of things. The Corinthians I fell into by accident, in fairness. If Nikki Hall was watching this, now you know. But I was here facilitating a Corinthians course, and I actually found myself doing it. And that's the truth. The psychic surgery, as I say, has just basically been channeled, or just came into my mind, and I started doing it, and it kind of was a bit of a no-brainer to me, at least. And the angel and archangelic, well, that's down to a very extraordinary woman who I encountered 4 or 5 years ago, who introduced me to the angels and archangels. And back in the day, I was like, I'm not worthy of doing this. And over the course of a few weeks, I was persuaded to connect with them and try, and the rest is history in a way, because the connection, here we go, the connection is extraordinary, and they are without doubt the most powerful beings in the universe, and I'm blessed to have a direct communication with them, and the work that they do through me is miraculous, truly miraculous. Next time I'll tell you a couple of tales about what has happened to me and some of the particular things that leave me in no doubt, not that I ever did doubt, but leave me in no doubt of the power of the archangelics. But I'll leave you with a little teaser that if they can pick my feet up, then they're seriously powerful. And that was an extraordinary experience that I had, and other moments where I felt them literally bend me double. I may have mentioned this on Virtual Vision FM, but I'm not sure about the one where they picked my feet up. I don't know whether I've ever said that publicly. Not that it was secret, but it just didn't crop up, I don't think. So right, I'll bring it to an end because it's probably about 20 minutes, and the attention span on the internet is probably fairly limited, unless I'm an exception to the rule and I'm absolutely fascinating to everybody, I don't know. I will do the 1 minute me moment video, and I will also do a meditation video, and they won't have this preamble or any of this chit chat going on. I will concentrate on doing maybe 5 minutes of meditation and about 2 minutes of the 1 minute me moment, which doesn't necessarily make sense until I say, well, I have to explain what I'm about to do and then bring it to an end, so it actually takes a minute or two to describe the 1 minute me moment. So travel safe, folks, wherever you are. I send you love, and I send you light, and I send you blessings, and namaste. I didn't click, I didn't creak, and look at that. That ankle that's been paining me for 4 years has gotten better, we hope. Right, bends down, I'm upside down, 25 minutes. Good grief. Hopefully that was quite interesting. That wasn't professional. Okay, see ya. What was that? Something just kicked off behind me. I'm sure I saw that. Okay, we'll only know when we know. Bye for now.